Motivation. Now let us discuss about motivation now, and later on we will discuss about the theories in motivation. We will be focusing on three main theories which will be there as a part of your syllabus. So now we know that motivation is derived from the word motive. That is, motivation is related to inner state of mind. So inner state of mind that will be trying to make some activation in our behavior, some change in your behavior. So motivation is an internal factor which is trying to bring in some modification, or we can even say it is a willingness. So it is one's willingness in order to strive, or achieve or accomplish the goals, one's goal. So motivation is nothing but it is an inner attitude or a behavior which is trying to bring in some change. So that particular change is warranted in order to accomplish the goals or the results of the individual or the organization at large. There are a lot of meaning and definition with respect to motivation. We will see one by one. First one is, as I told you, what is motivation? That is a question we have asked now. It is a result of an interaction which is being made between a person and the situation. So it is not a personal trait. I told you, it is a behavior change which try to bring in. So in that particular process, a person's effects are being energized and he is being directed and sustained in order to achieve the goal. So your energy is nothing but it is a measure of intensity or drive we have within ourselves, and the direction is how we move towards achieve the organization goals. Persistence is nothing but exerting one's effort in order to achieve the goals. So everybody will set the goal, and how far we are reaching the goal, the exerting effort, whatever we put, continuous effort we put in order to achieve the goals will be persistence. So this motivation will be working better when an individual is trying to having some compatibility with respect to the organization goal. So individual goals will also be achieved, the organization goals will also be achieved. So that is how we have what is called as motivation. Now motivation can be intrinsic or extrinsic. Then regarding intrinsic motivation, it is deciding something because we are interested and we enjoy doing it. The reason is within ourselves, it is internal. So it is coming from ourselves, and it is not driven by other people or by end result on outcome. So we enjoy doing. Sometimes we really like to do something. That is a thing which is our personal interest we have. So that is our interest within ourselves. So example is doing something which you really want to achieve. So something you want to achieve, that is within yourself, that is intrinsic motivation. Regarding extrinsic motivation, that is because somebody is asking you to do. That is they are saying if you want to get suppose if you want to get, parents will be selling, if you study well we will give you this like a reward. So somebody, some force is making you to so you are trying to do that because somebody has asked you to do. So for someone else sake you try to do. So this is nothing but this is being an external force. So intrinsic is within ourselves and extrinsic is within the external factors. So this is in order to achieve the goal, or you need a reward, or sometimes you want to avoid, or you want to take a disadvantage of it. Then motivation, as I told you, it is given as a redirecting, you want to share the bike sharing system in management company, or other uses like motivation. And here the reason for people's action is a desire and needs. So we know in motivation there is a need, there is a drive, and there is a goal intensive. That is, you want to have some incentive in order to achieve the goal. So in case of motivation, as we know, this is a process. So the process, how it starts is with respect to the psychological or physiological deficiency or the need. Motivation can be achieved only when there is a need. and there is a desire to do, and the action what we do. So it is like a directing to behave, and it is an individual and not the it is like we have to be motivated. So it is like you are trying to restore equilibrium by satisfying a need. So this is nothing but this process is the which is being done. So there is a relationship between action, desire and needs, and that is how the motivation has been. The importance of motivation, we can see how the motivation has been. So we will talk about the importance of motivation. We'll also have a better view about the part, like how he will be working in the organization. We can easily find out how he is working. So the employee who is working will be more loyal. So there is more loyalty in the part of the employee who is trying to have some link, a relationship with the particular organization where he is working. And the motivation is expected to bring in more comfort in the sense he can enjoy the job working, or he'll be expecting of the reward what you'll be getting. So that is, you try to love the job what you do. So it can be there will be some passion, interest will be created in the mind of the employee. Then next we will look into the theories of motivations. So first we'll talk about Maslow's need hierarchy theory. So Maslow, we know he's he has given us a lot of theories, and one of his theories is respect to need hierarchy theory, or we call it that as Maslow's theory of hierarchical needs. So here what is the motivational is, it is trying to stimulate. As I told you, it is the reaction between action, desire, interest. So in Maslow theory, there is a stimulating force which call it as a desire, drive, need, wishes. So the impulse, what it is creating in a human being to act, will be the explanation for the Maslow's theory. So what is being done is like it is being stimulating somebody to get the desired course of action. So there is a stimulus, a factor, and we try to find out the stimulus factor what is there. So when we talk about the needs, as we know, physiological needs, these physiological needs are being referred to as this individuals personal needs, like food he needs, everybody needs that. Then water, breathing, all these are even their sexual satisfaction is a part of the physiological needs. And when we move on to the safety needs, it talks about the security with respect to his health factor, then the resources, then his employment and his family property. And also people will not have the fear of losing his job, or he has a house where he can live in. He can even talk about the incentives what we get, the pensions what they get even after retirement. All these factors are with respect to safety and security needs. Then next is with respect to love and belonging. So when we talk about love and belonging, the friendship, the family and the sexual intimacy, that is with respect to love and belonging. So this is your third hierarchy. Then next one is when you talk about love and friendship or family, here we talk about the social affiliation. The social affiliation or their acceptance, like you try to be in the group, or you are coming under some social needs. You have some common needs with through friends or like that, and even you can have some society respect in the group where you work. So you want to be you want to be loved, and you also want to love people. That is with respect to love and belonging. And next one is esteem needs. When you talk about esteem needs, or even called as ego needs, here we talk about the respect of others and respect by others. It's very important because everybody needs an approval, or we need a recognition, and we have to have some confidence. We want to achieve something. So what we here does is that is though you're a member in a group, but you want to be recognized inside the group. That is you want to be an achiever. So that is you want to be esteemed by others. So this is the fourth level. The next one is self-actualization. Here self-actualization refers to the person's desire. So what you want to, that is his capability. So his creativity, problem solving skill, lack of prejudice, or accepting the facts, or morality, or spontaneity. So these are the features, that is individual capability we talk about. So you want to accomplish the goal by maximizing your potential. So this is the highest reward. Self-actualization will be the highest reward which individual said. That is the thing. So here we have given it in a better form for your understanding. So as I told you, physiological needs refers to air, water, food, shelter, sleeping, clothing and reproduction. Then regarding safety and security needs, we talk about the personal security, his employment status, is like as I told you, pension or something, like he wants some social security even after retirement, his employment, safety regarding his property, health, all these are there inside safety and security needs. Then love and belonging is he want to be loved and he want to love, that is a friendship, or he want to have some close intimacy with others, to be a part of his family, to have a social needs, like you have to be a part in a group, or he want to recognize himself in a part in a group, that is the sense of connectivity he wants within the group where he is. Then regarding this esteem needs, we talk about this respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength and freedom. And as I told you, self-actualization is what we want to be, that is the desire to become, that is he is utilizing his fullest capability or his. So here this is expectancy, and that is how he is performing and how his reward is being created. So these expectancies with respect to effort and performance is through instrumentation, how he is doing it, and balance is a reward. So he want to know, will my effort lead to high performance? So that performance will have some outcome, and that outcome is whether he is desirable. So that is with respect to the point. One is for the same thing we have taken another slide also for your better accomplishment of understanding. This is physiological needs, safety needs, social esteem and self-fulfillment, that is called as self-actualization needs. Now we move on to the next is two-factor theory, which has been given by Heisenberg. So as we know, he has two sets of needs. So based on his two sets of facts we have, that is he is having one set of needs which is called as maintenance needs, and another one is called as the motivational factor. So that is why we call the Heisenberg theory as a two-factor theory. So that is influenced by motivator factor and influenced by the hygienic factor. So we have two factors into considerations, and when you talk about the motivating factors, or you call them as an intrinsic needs also. So we have achievement, recognition, challenging of work, that is responsibility, advancement, then work itself, then responsibility, then growth or the personal growth. So improving the motivating factors, that will increase the job satisfaction. Same way we talk about the hygiene factors with respect to his salary, that is working conditions, status, job security, then personal relationship, what he is maintaining with the supervisor, salary, then policies, that is a safe relationship with the supervisor, relationship with the co-worker, then working conditions, all these, that is policies and rules relates to the company profile, that is administration. Now we have classified the hygiene factors and motivator factors. So as far as the hygiene factors are concerned, we have different hygiene factors. So we will see each one by seeing that. So these are the hygiene factors, that is the salaries, wages, so and other benefits. So this is respect to policy administration. As I told you, the good interpersonal relationship with the subordinate and with the supervisor, then the quality of supervision, job security, working conditions, and work-life balance. So these are the hygiene factors. And then next one is the motivator factor with respect to personal achievement, status quo, recognition, stimulating work, accepting responsibility. Then there is a growth prospects for future development opportunity, promotions, that is promotions. All these are the factors which we will be trying to grow in the particular organization. So when these factors are there, he will have general satisfaction, and there is a prevention of dissatisfaction. And when these are there results in, then we have high motivation, high satisfaction, and high commitment in the organization. So this has been given by the third author, that is McGraher's theory. So McGraher theory has got two factors into consideration. So here we have in next theory we talk about autocratic managerial style. So where workers are not given any chance in the thing. And we call McGraher as Douglas McGraher, and based on his impressive account of human relation. So in his book, The Human Side of Enterprise, we have taken this theory X and theory Y. So this theory X is nothing but it is a traditional theory, and we have to have some assumptions with that theory X, and we have to have some assumption with theory Y. So but regarding the theory X, we have to have the assumptions is that is there is a conventional approach to management, and this theory management is trying to direct how employees should behave. So it is more thing, and even they will try to avoid work. So they only threat punishment is to be given. So like that they do in the traditional X theory. And the assumption is first one is there is an inherent dislike of work. That is a thing, that is they find it boring, and they don't like to work, so they try to avoid work. And they second one is they also, as I told you, there is a feeling for threatening, that is coercion, threat. So this thing is performance is being related to threat. So only when there is a threat it is believed that there will be performance. And because as we know there is an disinterest, they don't like to work, somebody has to punish them or threaten them as if they will punish them. So this will only have some coercing power, like giving them punishment or even scolding them. So only that will bring down some effort, that is adequate effort in order to achieve the organization objectives. Then regarding the responsibility, here they try to avoid the responsibility, rather they don't accept responsibility at all. They don't feel like assuming responsibility, even they don't even move towards the progress of their own accord. They just whatever guidance is given or whatever direction they expect directed to be directed by the management. So they want always to look into the guidance that is given by the management. Then regarding ambition, motivation, they are not much motivated, and they always have a fear. So they don't have natural ambition in life. Whatever they do, they do, like they won't have job security. That is what is called as no ambition here. Then here money alone will not make people, that is money alone will be making people to work. That is the thing, they are less creative. So in regarding theory why these are the assumptions is as we know this is a modern like method, so it is completely opposite of the theory work X. And here the thing in theory Y is there is a more importance is given to the employees, and the attitude is they want to work and they want to take an interest in it. So based on the right conditions, so there is a liking for work, and they are always self-directed, and they are always self-controlled. So as we know, they know how they have to direct themselves, and they know how to accept the target. Regarding responsibility, they always that is their human that is their natural trait, like to accept responsibility. And what they do is they don't avoid ambition, like they have an inbuilt in will to work, that is their natural characteristics. So mostly that is with respect to theory Y. Then financial incentives, that is not only the factor which is giving them motivation, so they feel even something more than money like ego, self satisfaction, so that is important for employees under theory Y. Then as we know, motivated, as we know, they are really having desire to realize their own potential, and they are highly creative, so they try to utilize their capability in respect to particular theory Y. So this is the example we have taken, like theory X and theory Y. As we know, this is more pressure on by the management, and they are always authoritative, a represent style, and they are under tight control. There is no possibility for development, and they are having only resources. As we know, they are always in a depressed culture. They are not ready to work or not ready to accept responsibility. But in theory Y, there is a liberating and developmental nature of staff members, and they trying to achieve, and they are more motivating factor. They are having self direction, and they know how to work. So they are always having some feature like achieving more than their potential, and they don't always think about money is the only factor, and they think about their egoistic thing and their self-esteem or self-actualization. That is with respect to theory Y. And morale, we know this is the thing which we have to look into. Morale, that is the attitude of satisfaction with the desire in order to continue, and the willingness to achieve the goal. So this good morale, we can say it is like employees having more enthusiasm, and they are always willing to cooperate, and they want to achieve the organizational objectives. So morale can be through money incentive, like that is with respect to promotion of employee. Then it brings in security, and when we have a sound promotion policy, then status is with respect to the field, that is you are much important to the organization. So his status is to be recognized, and his individual should be recognized. Then the amenities, like we have features like we can have some medical benefits, or some like we can even have some leave control concessions, that will try to, that is we can give housing facilities or children education facilities. Some welfare amenities can be given to his employee or to his family members also. So like they have to have communication, that is with respect to keeping the workers well informed through communication. So whatever information is there that is passed on, that will try to bring in a better morale among the employees. Now next one is creating impulse, that is encouraging. So they have to identify the inbuilt talent what an employee has. They have to find out the talents and try to bring in some opportunity. They have to create an opportunity. Management create an opportunity in order to make his employee expel. He can explore, that is he can explore his talents, bringing his talents, trying to bring in more creativity. So that condition, that is some rewards can be even given for encouraging this thing. And spiritual workplace, that is like they can have some physical facilities of the environment, like good factory outlook, or a good spirit of workplaces, that is working condition. So these are the factors which will try to bring in a promotion of employee morale in an organization. Thank you.